We're here at the Grodega. This is our inaugural podcast with the one, the only, John Ellison. Now, John, how do people know you? What's your claim to fame?
Well, my claim to fame is because I'm a songwriter and I wrote the classic song, She's Some Kind of Wonderful.
Now, how does that go? Refresh my memory and people's memory real quick.
I don't need whole lots of money. I don't need a big fine car. I got everything that a man could want. I got more than I could ask for.
Okay.
All right.
Nice, man. You still got it.
That's
what are you, like
tell me.
62 years old? Did I make that up?
Me, 62?
Yeah.
No, man, you missed it. I'm 39 and holding.
39 and holding, yeah.
That's right.
Born in 1941.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah,
So
I'm truly blessed.
Yeah, truly blessed to be in your 80s and looking so sharp.
That's what I've been told.
Now, you never smoked, you never drank. Well, you smoked cigarettes.
No, I really can't even say I smoke cigarettes. I'll explain that. As a teenager, like a lot of, teenagers are, I was just following along with them.
Yeah.
They would puff on a few cigarettes.
Looking cool.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So when I realized, just as I was turning 20, how dangerous cigarettes were, I stopped.
Okay.
And so I haven't smoked any cigarettes since.
Yeah, but no alcohol.
No alcohol, never.
Your whole life.
My entire life, I've never drank alcohol.
And no interest or curiosity?
Nope. Well, I'll tell you what happened. When my father, my mother would buy a bottle of, I think it was called Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Seagram 7, that's what it was.
Okay.
She would buy a bottle of it, and the way he drank, he would open the top off the bottle, put a little in the top, and he would sip off it.
Okay.
So, out of curiosity, one day I said, I'm going to slip me some. So I put some in the top, and I tasted it. Man, I said, Dad, how can you taste that? That's horrible. And from that point on, I just tasted it at one time.
That's it.
And that was it.
That's great. Well, it's definitely paying off. You got that some kind of wonderful look going right now, John.
There you go. So it's just, I said, no, I never.
Now we're here. We brought you to the Grodega Grove for a reason. We're happy to announce your addition and inclusion to the Grovara catalog with their creation of some kind of wonderful all-purpose seasoning. More than 12 herbs and spices. Now this is your product.
This is my product, yes.
And let's talk about this. So, how do you go from being this amazing songwriter and the whole music career, and then this is a relatively new addition to your repertoire, right?
Well, I'll put it this way. My second passion has always been cooking.
Okay.
As opposed to music. And long before I decided to market this, I was putting together different mixes. And so when I created this mix, and my main reason for doing it was because I like to eat healthy. And I found that a lot of the products that's on the market, they have artificial coloring in it. They have, they're overloaded with salt, which is not good for the body. So I decided, if I want to know what I'm actually taking into my body, if I create it, then I know what I'm eating.
And this is, you created something pretty clean here. You got blended spices, including turmeric, onion, garlic, salt, parsley flakes, and extractives of celery.
Yep.
Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
And then, what can people use some kind of wonderful on? What do you do with this?
Well, this product, you can use it on practically anything. Whatever you put this on, it's going to change the flavor and it's going to make it amazing.
Okay.
I have used it, just to give you a few items. I've made chicken salad with it, tuna salad, egg salad. I baked bread with it. I also use it in soups, salads. Anything. All types of meats, whatever type of meat.
Popcorn seasoning, right? Sprinkle it on top there. Put on some eggs maybe in the morning.
Potato chips, French fries, eggs.
So our goal here, if we're successful, we want this to be salt, pepper, some kind of wonderful, right? That third option. Is that the goal?
Exactly.
Okay.
This product, once you use it, it'll even make you sing too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Not me. I can't really sing too well. I'll let you do all that.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
It enhances your voice.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. An honest testimonial.
There you go.
Okay. And like, what was like, how, like, there had to be a moment when you're like, I need to bring this to market, right?
Well, what pushed me to bring it to market, and I had been talking about it even before this happened, is there was a lady, a friend of mine in Canada. She had a grand opening for her restaurant, and she asked me to come for the grand opening, and she was giving away food for samples, and she came over to my table, and she had some wings that she had prepared, and she passed them out. And then she came around later. She said, "John, how do you like the wings?" And my comment was to her, because I know her, and we were friends. I said, "Well," her name is Bonnie. I said, "Bonnie, they're good." I said, "But you want to know the honest truth? They're not as good as mine." So she said, "Well, what do you do to yours?" I said, "Well, I have my own seasoning that I use." She said, "Well, how about bringing some to the restaurant and prepare some wings for me? Let me see what it tastes like." I said, "Okay." So the next day I brought some of my spice, seasoned up some wings, and she let her customers try them. And their comment was, "Bonnie, you have the best wings in town."
Oh, wow.
And she came to me, she said, "John, you got to give me that recipe." I said, "Nah, I can't do that now." So she said, "Well, if you won't give me the recipe," she said, "would you mind seasoning up some wings for the restaurant?" I said, "Sure, I can do that." So she said, "Well, I'm going to order some." And she said, "I'll call you when they come in, and you come up and season them up." Well, about 4 days later, she called me, and she said, "Okay, the wings are in." She said, so I didn't know how many wings she wanted me to season up. So I mixed up a couple of gallons of spice in gallon pails.
Yeah.
And I came there, and she showed me where the wings were. It was in this walk-in refrigerator, and there was boxes of wings stacked to the ceiling, to the tune of 7,000 wings.
Nuh-uh.
Yep. It took me about 4 days to not cook them, just prep them. So I started doing them by the hundreds, and it took me 4 days to do them all. And she paid me $5,800 for the 4 days' work and for using my spice. So I came home and I told my wife, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm going to market this stuff." I said, "I've been talking about it for a while, making jokes." I said, "But I'm seriously going to market it." So my wife, her comment was, "Well, you don't know anything about food. You're into music." I said, "No, I don't know anything about food, but I'm going to learn." So she said, "Well, what are you going to call it?" I said, "Well, I'm going to name it after my song. We call it Some Kind of Wonderful."
And now Some Kind of Wonderful seasoning is being sold where? Like, if I'm like a consumer, I want to buy this.
Well, if you wanted to buy it, right now it's in 634 supermarkets. I also have a website that you can order it from. It's called wonderfulseasoning.com.
Okay, and if you want to buy in bulk for your restaurant or for your store, we can now go to Grovara.
Yep, there you go. Go to Grovara.
Yeah.
And you can order from you. And it comes in 1 pound bags, 10-pound bags, 25-pound bags, 50-pound bags.
Okay.
So.
All right, that's amazing. All right, well, let's touch on a little bit of your background here. So, and like, you get started, and like, early on, you're born in 1941.
Right.
I mean, this is like I mean, you look at like society today, and relative to like 1941, we like to like say that like racism is like very all over culture today, but like we've got nothing compared to what you grew up with. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement. Absolutely.
You want to, for the generation who's going to be watching this, like my age people who grew up in kind of more of like a luxury time relative, like your early life was like just straight on segregation at its finest, right?
Exactly. Well, I was born in West Virginia, and but me being the person that I am, I've always had a hard time accepting what people tell me and living by their rules. And because of that, I often got in a lot of trouble with my parents because they would tell me to shut up and do as I was told. And to give you an example, we had to walk to school every day. And for example, you could see where we lived, I could see in the distance my school. If I walked in a straight line, it would take me about 20 minutes to get to my school. But I would have to walk through the white neighborhood, which was not allowed. So instead of walking in that straight line to get to my school, I had to walk a few miles around to get over to my school. And I asked Mom, I said, why is it that we can't just walk straight through this road on this road and go to get to the school? And my mom would say, well, because I said you're going to walk the other way. I said, but why? She said, because I told you, and that's all you need to know. So I said, Mom, that's not right. But see, you weren't allowed to talk back to your parents. That was being disrespectful or question. And so I always had a problem with, and then eventually I learned it's because of the color of my skin. I entered a contest in a little town called Welch, West Virginia. And I was
what kind of contest?
Talent show, talent contest. And they were announcing on the radio, they said, the winner of this contest will win a trip to New York and $500.
Wow.
Well, I was 16 years old, and I learned to play the guitar when I was 13, so I was pretty good. So I entered this contest. Well, I'm the only person of color in this room where the radio station was. And I'm listening to everyone that went into the room where you auditioned, and you could hear them over the intercom. And I would listen to them. I got a beat. I'm better than that. So when they finally called my name, I went into the room and they said, okay, what are you going to sing? I said, I'm going to do a song by Chuck Berry. It's called School Days. So they said, okay, let's hear it. So I started by, up in the morning and out to school. Within 15, 20 seconds, one of the judges said, that's it. We have a winner. I just smiled to myself because I knew I'd won. You know, I'm better than anybody. So I turned and walked out of the room, and the judge said, that's it, this contest is over. And when I walked out, there was an intercom above the door, speakers, you know, you could hear everything that the judges would say. So one said to the other one, he goes, what the hell you mean we have a winner? So the other judge said, well, this guy's great. No one's going to be any better than this. This contest is over. And he goes, hell no, it's not over. He said, I don't care how good he is. And you can bleep this out, but I'm going to say what he said. He said, he's a goddamn and there's no way in hell we're going to let a win this contest. And that was my first experience with blatant, disrespectful racism when I heard that. And it was like someone put a knife through me.
Yeah, makes the way you tell that story, you know, you look at where we are today, and we don't even have something, I mean, it is as blatant, but it's not as blatant.
Yeah.
You got this cancel culture, you come out with something like that today, it's, you know, social media has kind of brought it to the forefront, but even still, we talk about how prevalent it is, and it's just a different degree when you know, take it back to, you know, what you've experienced.
Oh, I mean, that's just one of many. But what it did for me, you know, I got teary-eyed, made me angry, but what it also did for me, it made me so determined to prove to that person that said that and to everybody else that you can't stop me. I don't care how hard you try, I am going to achieve my goals. The things that I set up for myself, what I wanted to do in life, I was going to do it. And you couldn't stop me. So that's what it motivated me.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's great. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some kind of wonderful all-purpose seasoning here.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Is there a correlation between music and food?
Yeah, there is, actually. Like when I write a song, I don't just write the words. I create the melody. Even before I go in the studio, or before I put pen to paper, I've already created the song in my head, the melody. I hear the bass, how the bass is going to play, the guitar, what I want about the drums. And that's the same thing when I create a food, a spice, or if I create a dish. I already know what it's going to taste like before I finish it, because I know what onion powder tastes like, garlic powder. I know what they taste like when you combine them, because I've been cooking so long. So I know if I combine this with that, I already know before I add it to the food what it's going to taste like.
Yeah, you got that science.
Yeah.
Food science type
for
of music
example,
science.
I made some ribs for my grandson a few days ago. I made some a rack of ribs, and even before I cooked them, I already knew what they were going to taste like when I finished prepping them. And they said, "Oh, Grandpa, those are the best ribs." So it's just I don't know if you'd call it a natural talent, but it's just something I can do.
You know, it reminds me of, like, Beethoven went deaf and still was writing and composing.
Yeah, there you go.
You didn't have to hear the music to know what it sounded like.
Exactly.
All right.
So I guess you could say I'm a Beethoven.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, top 100. So let's talk about some kind of wonderful, the song. So the song, you wrote that song on a drive down from Rochester to Philadelphia, right?
Correct.
So it's kind of, being here in Philly, it's kind of nice getting back to your roots, so to speak,
Right.
on where that kind of organically came to life, right?
Right. Well, the song was written, the inspiration was, excuse me, was a young lady that I was dating in Rochester.
Okay.
And she packed me a lunch. She was really serious. And I really liked her a lot, but I was not looking for a wife. I didn't want to get married. I had a career I was following. And I knew she wanted more out of the relationship than I could give her. So she said to me, "I'm going to make you lunch." And I saw her, it was the day that I was leaving. I wanted to see her before I left. And she said, "I pack your lunch so you won't get hungry." And, we were hugging each other. And she was all teary-eyed, and she said, "Make sure you take care of yourself, and hurry back." And I knew I wasn't coming back, because when I left Rochester, I was going to Philadelphia. And from there, wherever, my musical career took me. And I looked at her and I said, "You know what, you're some kind of wonderful. I said, I'm going to write a song about you."
Now, she found out, obviously.
Yeah.
The song's about her.
Oh, yeah, she knows.
She knows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so I guess a few hours into the trip, I got hungry and I ate the sandwich. And I was thinking about her, and I knew I wasn't coming back to Rochester. And I started writing on the bag that the sandwich was in.
Wow.
I wrote, "I don't need a whole lot of money." And the reason I wrote that line is because the group at that point in time in our life, we were broke. We had no money.
Soul Brother 6.
Soul Brother 6. We were broke, had no money. And I said, "I don't need a big fine car." The car that we were riding in, it was an old beat up Ford. I think it was a 59, but because of the salt on the roads and everything, it was all rusted out. And you could look through the floor and see the highway.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I said I don't need a big fine car. But I got everything a man could want. I was referring to her. So that's how the song came about.
Okay, let's talk about the Soul Brothers 6.
Okay.
So before the Soul Brothers 6, you were in another group.
I was with a group, we were called Satan's Four. It was an interracial group. And that came about, a young man came to my apartment one day.
Young white man.
Yeah, a young white guy.
Okay.
And in the area where I live, you didn't see many whites around.
So you thought he was like a bill collector?
Unless they were bill collectors or, they had something to do with business. So he knocked on the door, I answered the door, and first I thought he was a bill collector or something. And he said, I'm looking for John Ellison. And I hesitated, I said, well, who's looking for him? He said, well, I'm looking for him. I said, for what? He said, well, there's a rumor going around that he's a great guitarist and a singer. And he said, and I'm looking to put together an interracial group. And I was wondering if he'd be interested. I said, well, okay, I'm John Ellison. And I said, sure, I'm interested.
Now, there was no such thing as an interracial group back in 1960 something, right?
Not that I was aware of, no.
Right. This was like pretty at the precipice of a new kind of idea.
Right. And he had this idea, and he said we could make a lot of money. He said I got this idea. I'll sing.
Is this your boy Frank out here? Is your best friend?
That's my best buddy.
Yeah. Now, how you doing, Frank? Well, we're filming here, Frank. This is our podcast. I'm Pete Groverman. Welcome.
Very nice.
Now, who is this guy? You can introduce him real quick. Come on, get over
Frank
here.
This is he owns Jamie. He's the owner of Jamie Music, and
you're this guy. You made this.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been working together since the 1960s.
that's what I told him.
And what was his pickup line? How did you guys connect? What was?
Well, it was through his dad. His dad was the owner of the company, and then even before his dad retired and passed away, Frank and I became, great buddies. And
Nice.
to this day, I was telling him, he's like a young Frank Lips.
Nice.
You see the resemblance?
I see more hair on him.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you
That's
about
what he
that.
said, too.
That's what
He
I
said the
told
same
him.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, Frank, get off camera. Let me wrap up my interview here, and our boys over here will get you a drink. Guys, will you get this guy a water or a drink or a beer or something, whatever you want, Frank. Our house is your house. This is the Grodega Podcast. So that's why we got John in town. You're not going to talk a little about some kind of wonderful seasoning, right? All right, nice impromptu there. That's good. Good timing, Frank. All right, well, anyway, so you were at the Satan's 4?
Yeah, it was Satan's 4.
Okay.
And he asked me how did I feel about working with white musicians. And my comment to him was, well, it depends how much you're going to pay me.
Right.
And he said, well, the money's going to be good. I said, okay.
And you guys sounded real good. It was two black guys, two white guys?
We were amazing.
Okay.
We had an amazing sound. I would do songs like My Girl, Temptations, Motown stuff. And he was singing songs like, Lua, Lua.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, man, we got to go now. All the British music, that was...
good mashup. That sounds
it was great.
like it would work.
And the people, the audiences, I mean, they just went, wow.
Because I'm sure it was like a phenom to have like interracial group performing live.
Wherever we performed, we had a lineup. People knew Satan's 4 was there. It was...
Now, where did Satan's 4 come from? That's a pretty...
To be honest with you, I think, Johnny I don't know how he came up with the name. The guy that came to my door.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to call it Satan's 4, so his father bought a van. The van was painted all black, and it had 4 red devils on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
yep.
All right, and so you got Satan's 4, and then you now that group disbanded because of your plain racism, right?
Because of racism, yeah.
And like what? Now let's expand on that too, because like back in the time, it's the 1960s, right? You couldn't play a black artist on the radio at the time,
right? Not on white radio stations.
Now, not on white radio stations,
right? It was big. Black radio stations would play us, but but not white radio stations.
Okay. Yeah. And then, and like, it was just blatant, sorry, they're colored, they're off.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
No excuses, no hiding it.
No, and also there were some white record shops wouldn't even carry black music in the record stores. Yeah, it was not a good time.
And then when you'd go on tours, the Satan's 4, you'd try and check into a hotel, and they'd let the white guys stay there, but the black guys couldn't?
That's right, exactly.
So what would happen?
That's what caused us to break up, because after we started running into, like when we were in Rochester, the clubs, there was no problem to play in the clubs because we lived in Rochester, so we didn't have to stay anywhere except, when we finished a gig, the guys would go to their part of the city where they lived, and we would go to where we lived. We were allowed to play, but we were not, also even in Rochester, you were not allowed to mingle with any of the audience.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was it. It just was too hard to overcome the challenges of the racism of the day.
Right, and so everybody got disappointed because of how things were, and we just...
So then you team up in like 1967 with the Soul Brothers 5, right?
Well, it was Soul Brothers 6. What happened was...
But they were 5 before they met you.
Right, they were 5.
And then you convinced them to be the 6th man?
Well, they had heard about me because the drummer of Soul Brothers 6, him and I were playing, he was part of Satan's 4.
Oh.
Yeah, so when Satan's 4 broke up, he came to me and said, my brothers are forming a group, and we'd like for you to play with them as well.
And then you become the lead singer.
Yeah, and songwriter.
Lead songwriter, lead guitarist.
Yeah.
For the
Soul Brothers
6.
Yeah.
And on your trip down from Rochester to Philly, you're eating this sandwich and you're writing what would end up being one of the top 100 best songs of all time. Is that?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's stick on that vein for a second. So then you write this song, Some Kind of Wonderful.
Right.
You start performing it, people love it.
Right.
And then what happens? It just doesn't get picked up really until...
Well, what happened with the Soul Brothers 6, again, there's a lot of, how should I put it, crooked people in the music business, management. So we had managers that were not on the up and up. And whenever we did a concert, whatever happened, we didn't get the money. And we got a few dollars, but the management was keeping the money.
But you were smart enough to know that you were going to keep your own intellectual property rights for your own music.
No, I was not smart enough to know that. That's where Frank's dad come in.
Okay.
And what happened was Frank's father took me on his wings, and he taught me what I needed.
Now, what's Frank's dad's name?
Harold Lipsius.
Okay, Harold Lipsius from Philly?
Yeah.
Now, was Harold, did he have a studio too?
He owned the same company that Jamie Music.
Jamie Record Co.
Yeah, he owned Jamie.
1414 Pine Street.
Yeah, they were on Broad Street at the time.
Okay.
919 Broad Street.
And then he sat down at right around this time when you're with this Soul Brothers 6, and he's like, listen, look at me in the eye, you got to own your own stuff.
Well, he said to me that if I signed with him as a writer, that he would show me how to protect myself with the music. And he said, I'll make you a lot of money. And so to this day, I'm still with him.
Because I read that you own all your own IP, all your songs, all your music.
Yeah, I own the royalties, the writer's royalties, and Frank and I share the publishing.
Okay, so then let's stick on this. So now you're with the Soul Brothers 6.
Right.
You got Some Kind of Wonderful. You got a whole bunch of other songs too.
Right.
But Some Kind of Wonderful was your best song as the 6?
It was the one that everyone that became known out of all the songs.
Okay, but then
really known.
It wasn't until 6 years later though that Grand Funk.
Yeah. Well, and that's because Grand Funk Railroad, like a lot of other white artists, listened to black radios, and they would learn the songs.
And because they were white, they could get the airtime on the white radio
stations. Exactly.
And that's where the money was.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Because if you a white artist recorded a song, it was played all over the U.S. on white radio stations.
But the black were just like probably region specific.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was hard to break through.
Right.
So you kind of had to like disguise yourself through cover artists who were white.
Well, it wasn't our choice. I mean, when every artist that recorded a song was recording it in hopes that they would receive the same airplay as a white artist. Like when I recorded Some Kind of Wonderful, when Soul Brother 6 recorded Some Kind of Wonderful, we weren't thinking, oh, well, we hope a white group record the song so I can make money.
Yeah, you're thinking this is a great song.
Right, I'm thinking, oh, wow, we've made it. But not realizing that we were limited as to where we could play, how much airplay we could get, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So.
And then did Grand Funk Railroad approach you? But because they
don't have to approach.
They were Capitol Records as well, because
right,
Soul Brothers 6
we were
was
on Atlantic Records.
You're Atlantic.
Yeah.
But
so an artist does not have to approach a writer to record a song. All they have to do, if you record my song, you have to know that. Well, the song that I'm recording, who wrote it? Well, if it says Ellison wrote it, then you have to put Ellison's name on it.
And credit them.
And because my song is registered with BMI, you know what BMI is, right?
No, tell me.
BMI is Broadcast Music Incorporated.
Okay.
This is the organization that collects
royalties
from all radio stations
right.
all over the world.
That's the BMI.
That's BMI.
Okay.
So they collect writers. Every time a song is played on the radio, I don't care if it's in Australia or wherever, those radio stations have to pay to play the music.
Okay.
And it's every week or once a month, they will pay the organization that the songwriters belong to for playing the record.
Now, okay, let's talk about
how many times it's played on the radio.
Do you remember the first time you heard Grand Funk Railroad play your song?
Yes, I do.
And was it like mixed emotions? Because
no, it wasn't mixed emotions.
How were you feeling?
I was feeling great.
You're feeling great
because I got a phone call from Frank's
dad,
and he said, "Congratulations." He said, "Your song has just been picked up by Grand Funk Railroad, and the first royalty check looked pretty good."
I bet it did. and to this day, you still collect royalties.
Oh yeah.
This song is like powered your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Isn't that amazing? Now, what are some of the accolades of Some Kind of Wonderful, the song? It's been covered by how many people?
75 to my knowledge. I think it's more than that though.
Okay, and every single person that covers it, plays it whenever it gets played, you get paid.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And it's got to be one of the top most covered songs of all time.
One of the most covered songs of all time. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been on the radio over 6 million times. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been, I've been blessed.
And then if someone covers your song, you don't have to give them permission or anything. They just do it.
No,
So has anyone ever covered it and you were like, "Oh, it's awful"?
I've heard one version of it that I think is horrible. It's some group called Viva.
Oh wait. Oh, we got to bleep that out.
Oh.
Do you want to call them out? Put them on blast here? Yeah, we'll tell Viva. Viva, you got to do better, guys.
Yeah.
Can't. This is right.
I mean, yes. I mean, that's
put them out there.
Opinion.
All right.
I didn't like their version of
Now,
it.
has anyone taken the song and like remixed it or mastered it or sampled it in like 2025?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's something we need to do for you?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we got to figure that out. We'll crack that
sounds
nut
good.
for you. Well, that's great. Okay, but it's so fascinating to me to hear that, that's why I say, like, I can imagine it being like a mixed blessing, because on one end, you're getting that royalty check from Grand Funk Railroad, but on the other end, if you were born white, you wouldn't need the Grand Funk Railroad to do it. You'd be all you.
Exactly.
And then every time they're performing it, the audience doesn't know about BMI
No.
or about you or who wrote it. They just see Grand Funk on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, "Oh, it's Grand Funk's song."
Yeah.
And then you go tell someone, "Oh, I wrote that song." They're like, "No, you didn't. That's Grand Funk Railroad wrote that." And you're like, "No.
Exactly, you're right.
And there's always that footnote for your whole life, right?
Yeah, my whole life, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And which is unfair.
But it's a little flattering.
You know, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's unfair when you look at how in terms of how many concerts Grand Funk Railroad has done simply because of a song that I wrote. And our group was denied that because of the color of our skin.
And then how long did Soul Brothers 6 go on until you guys disbanded?
Well, we disbanded in 1969.
Okay, so you had a couple years together. But then it wasn't, so Grand Funk didn't cover it till like 74.
1974, right.
So for those 5 years, was that weird? Like what were you doing during those 5 years?
I formed another group called Soul Brothers 6.
Right. But then but Soul Brothers 6 disbanded in what year?
1969.
69.
And they stopped performing. I moved on. I said, I'm not gonna. They got out of the music, got day jobs because they were frustrated with the management. And I said, no, I'm not getting a day job. So I formed another group and I continued to work under the name Soul Brothers 6. I started touring in Canada and I met a Canadian agent and that started booking me all over Canada with this new group. And we stayed together from 1970 until 1978.
Wow.
And then that group disbanded. And then I said, I'll never work under another group name. So I started working under my own name, John Ellison.
John Ellison.
Yeah.
And so have you had like any other like close hits to some kind of wonderful, or is there anything else that you're more partial to, or that's kind of like?
No. I've had songs that I think would have done just as well. For whatever reason, there was something magic about Some Kind of Wonderful.
I mean, it's played at every single wedding I've ever been to.
But also, what I didn't mention is the flip side of Some Kind of Wonderful in Europe is huge.
What do you mean by that?
The flip side, because it was a 45. Some Kind of Wonderful was on a 45.
Oh.
So the other side.
Now, a 45, for anyone who doesn't know what a 45 is, what's a 45?
It's a record, They called it a 45.
Is it like a regular record like this? Is this a 45?
No, that's an LP.
This is an LP?
Yeah.
Right, so 45 is about half the size of this, right?
It's just about this round.
Okay.
And
so on the flip side, because literally there's two sides to a record, so when the record would stop playing, you'd flip the side.
It over, and on the other side, the name of the song was I'll Be Loving You.
Oh.
And I'll Be Loving You was huge in Europe. It became the wedding song of Europe.
Wow.
In the UK.
Is it still pretty, numbers speak for themselves?
When I went to the UK and I was performing and I was singing I'll Be Loving You, so many people came up to me and they had that actual 45 and they would say, can you sign it? It was on the Atlantic label and they wanted me to sign it and autograph it. And when I started singing I'll Be Loving You, everyone in the audience knew the words to the song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so yep.
All right, well, so you got a million experiences, and you're performed all across the planet.
Right.
Do you have one moment that just comes to mind? It was like your best performance, best place, best thing you've ever done in front of a crowd?
Well, I would have to say what I think was my best performance ever.
Besides what you're going to do today, right?
Besides what I'm going to do today, was I was in the south of France, and it was the Nice Jazz Festival.
Okay.
And I opened for James Brown.
Wow.
And that particular evening, I came out on stage, and I had this genie outfit on.
Okay.
And when they introduced me, there was this big puff of smoke.
Okay.
And when the smoke cleared, I was standing there in the middle of this smoke like a statue. Then all of a sudden I started moving and dancing, and the crowd went crazy. And when I finished my show that evening,
with James Brown,
people because he was the last act coming on. I came on before him. And when I finished my show and I walked off stage, there were people yelling, "Uncle, Uncle," they wanted more and more. And so I came back out and did another 2 or 3 minutes, walked off. The crowd kept screaming for John Ellison. Came out, did another one. And so the next day, in the newspaper, there was this article, and I was on the front page of the newspaper. I still have that article today.
What did it say?
It said, although James Brown's name was bigger than John Ellison's, it said this concert will only be remembered because of John Ellison.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, that was pretty.
That's
pretty
really
good.
cool.
Yep. So.
All right, that counts. I'll allow. That's a good story.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in the Grodega. This is our home. This is where we hang out. We put all of our new products. They come on in. We bring people on. The idea of the Grodega Podcast is kind of showcase the stories about the brands that we're bringing to market in our catalog.
Right.
Tell some good stories about how you came up with this idea, what we should do with this product. We're gonna try something new today for you, though. Is there anything here that just pops that you just were like, I got to try that, Peter? Anything on the shelf here that you just want to stick at or no? Besides the hair gel. You don't want the hair gel.
It's either-
You want to try some chipoys?
Yeah.
All right, chipoys are cool. You like spicy? You want
No,
cool?
not spicy.
Oh, you want? How about a spicy? Spicy ranch. You don't want? This is like a Dorito-esque kind of flavor. I think I could
Okay.
say, but a little bit better. It's
Okay.
like a rolled corn tortilla chip. You want to give that a go?
Sure.
All right, now here's how this works.
Okay.
You gotta be brutally honest.
Okay.
If you
Oh.
don't like it, you're like, Peter, this is garbage. You gotta tell us. But I think you're gonna be pretty happy with this one.
Okay.
Give it a little. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
your first time. All right, so you got the chipoys. Now, chipoys is cool. Mike Barrow created this product. It's one of my favorite products we carry. It's a rolled tortilla chip.
Well, actually, good.
It's
I like it.
actually good.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it would taste better if it was some kind of wonderful seasoned rolled tortilla chip? Would this work on this? Can we do a collaboration here?
You know what? To be honest with you,
Yeah, be honest. Be honest.
it would work.
It would work.
I'm not saying it because it's good.
But you'd mess with this, right? All right, you hear that? That's an honest testimonial.
It's good.
Chipoys. All right, cool. I think we could probably put these two together. You know,
I know you could.
Yeah. Oh, you do. Or we'll put you in touch with Mike. We'll let you guys make a deal. Come up with our own song here for Chipoys, rolled corn tortilla chip. Nice, man. All right. Well, we're gonna get you to sing. Is there anything else you want to share about your story, about the seasoning, about your life? I know you married a beautiful woman. How long have you been married now?
Well, July 31st, we will be married 54 years.
Oh my gosh. And have you ever written her a song?
Yes, I have.
I bet you have.
Actually,
nice.
on this album is a song I wrote for
On
her.
this one?
Yep.
All right, what's the song?
Called Simply I Love You.
That's it. Nice. All right, all right. We have any more questions, David or anyone, team, for John Ellison? No? Amazing, right? Pretty good story. Can you believe the amount of hurdles you've overcome to get to where you are today?
Well, you know, I want to leave you with one thing. There are dream killers. This world is full of dream killers.
Now, what do you mean by dream killer?
People
What-
that can try to run your life and tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And if you buy into that and follow and do what others want you to do, you will never achieve anything in life. And I tell everybody that if you have a dream, hold on to it and don't let anyone kill it, because everything you see, and when I say everything you see on this earth came from somebody's thought. The chairs that we're sitting in, this cup, the lights. It was somebody thought, you know what? I got an idea. I'm gonna, instead of using candles all the time, I'm gonna make a light. Somebody told that person, oh, you're crazy. Same thing they said to the Wright brothers when they said they were gonna fly. That was great. That was a dumb idea.
So how do you remind yourself every day? Because it's hard. You get people in your head, they're trying to keep it down. They're jealous. They don't believe you. They're, haters for whatever reason. How do you personally wake up every day and persevere and come out with the next best thing to the best you can without letting people keep you down?
Because you see, no one can control me. I control me. And I don't listen to anybody. If I come up with an idea, I'm not going to let somebody shoot me down. You can't. I tell them, don't look. If you don't have anything positive to say to me, don't say anything.
Okay.
That's how I am.
That's a good mantra.
Yep.
And you said you got a new country song you're working on, right?
Yep.
All right. This is, I get more bang for my buck.
Get more bang for my buck.
All right. And you're going to be performing that for us today?
Sure.
All right. We'll let you do that. When we pause here, we'll get everything set up. We'll get you all set up.
Sounds good.
Last thing before we turn off the cameras, I want you to know you are now a formal addition to the Grovara catalog. We have you listed on the platform. We're going to launch you at least and introduce you to as many countries as possible.
Peter, what I can say to you, it's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here and with your beautiful staff. And
you like the Grodega?
I love it.
Yeah? You think you can get us some more samples for our shelves?
Yeah, sure. You'll have it tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Because you have a product coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Hey, listen, we got a better jacket for you. As part of the team now, you get our team uniform. Barry, you want to come over here and give Mr. Ellison his team jacket?
First of all, don't call me Mr. Ellison.
Oh, snap. All right, give John.
There you go.
You take the jacket off. You take this. I like your style. The shoes. Can we get the shoes on camera, guys? We got them here. Yeah, let's look at this. This guy, you are styling. There we go. And then we got him. We got the jacket going on here. Thanks, Barry. And Mr. Ellison, we're gonna let you do your thing, and you can give us. You get more bang for your buck.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll get you going here. But hey, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm a small town country boy. I like living wild and free. My girl, she's stone country. Yeah, she's just like me. We like riding on country roads, sleeping in my pickup truck. I don't mind, she don't mind, and I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. Sleeping in my pickup truck, I get more bang for my buck. Sleeping in my pickup truck, I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. I don't like driving fancy cars. I don't like staying in hotels. I like drinking beer from the bottle, sometimes raising hell. I like seeing in the stars at night while in my pickup truck. When she give me a kiss, I can't resist, and I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. Yeah, I said sleeping in my pickup truck, I get more bang for my buck. Sleeping in the pickup truck, I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. Me and my girl, We're like two peas in a pod. We're like that truck. She likes my fishing rod. And I get more bang. I get more bang for my buck. Yeah, sleeping in my pickup truck. I get more bang for my buck. Sleeping in my pickup truck. I get more bang. Get more bang for my buck. Get more bang for my buck.